Brother lads, welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is the latest Arsenal news and transfer news as well. Fabrizio Romano has just confirmed that Arsenal will be holding a medical for a new signing. That is Tommy Setford. But also, this is going to be a massive week for Arsenal. First and foremost, the Euros have come to an end. That's a very big point when it comes to transfers, especially in a summer where you have Euros and the Copa America tournament. So both tournaments have come to an end this weekend, we thank goodness. And also, this is the week that leads up to Arsenal's first preseason game. Now, remember that Arsenal play Manchester United first, then we play Bournemouth next. So, starting next weekend on Sunday, starting this week on Sunday, Arsenal will play Manchester United and then we'll go ahead to take on Bournemouth. So this is the week that starts preseason. This is the week that Arsenal, can now have a free ride and a free run to all their players that they're looking to sign without the fear of the Euros, without the fear of football going on. So the likes of Eze, the likes of MERINO, we're going to talk about. The likes of Nico Williams, we're going to talk about. But this week is going to be very crucial for Mikel Arteta and also very crucial for all the players that have been at the Euros and are hoping to have a transfer happen. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you so much for following through the I think the first 30 days of the window, they've been very, very difficult. Arsenal doing slow deals and pleasant deals. But I think starting today, we are going to see better deals. We're going to see quicker deals. Like I said, most of the obstacles of the market have been put behind us. So let's start off with that big Fabrizio Romano update. He's just confirmed that Arsenal will put Tommy Setford on medicals this week. They see him as a goalkeeper that's going to be very, very, very important as part of their strategy. They look at him as one for the future, but also one for the present as well. A person asked me in the comment section, is he going to play right away? Well, that will depend on Mikel Arteta. I don't think a player being that young these days really impacts on how they fit into the squad or whether they will play. We've seen the likes of Ada Gula, we have seen the likes of Lamine Yamal, we have seen the likes of so many young players have graced our screens at the Euros, and I can't lie, the best players at the Euros this year have been the teenagers. They have been the youngsters. When you look at the Ronaldos of this world, the Lukakus, the Kevin De Bruynes, the Mbappes, they've been absolute trash. So Arsenal will hold the medicals for Tommy Setford, announce him as first signing of the summer, and then this week is when Arsenal are also hoping to get the Ricardo Calafiori deal out of the way. So Ricardo Calafiori, I think what's going to happen this week and what we all expect this week is that either Arsenal are going to up their offer to 50 million euros plus 5 million euros in add-ons, which Bologna are saying you should give us that, and then much of that should be paid up front, or Bologna are going to concede to Arsenal's offer of 45 plus 5 in add-ins. This week, I also expect Ricardo Calafiori to come back from the Maldives. We also expect him to, to fly for medicals. We also expect him to either be part of that Arsenal squad that will travel to the US or join Arsenal in the US for their first season again. For their first game against Bournemouth. So there's a lot to expect on the Ricardo Calafiori deal. The one thing I love about this deal is that pretty much, much of it is done. Personal terms are in place. Contract is in place, a fee, an agreement on the fee is in place. It's just about the structure. And yes, structures of deals take a long time. If you remember the Declan Rice deal, we agreed, we made a bid, 105 million. It was accepted. And from that point in time, it was about the structure, the fees, how much are we going to, pay up front, how much are we going to pay in add-ons, how much are we going to pay in bonuses. And that usually takes a lot of time when you're dealing with a club like Arsenal that have very difficult terms and conditions when it comes to deals. But I think Mikel Arteta and Arsenal this time will have to take a compromise because it's too late now. I mean, in the last 3 years, Arsenal have not done poorly as we have done in transfers this summer. Imagine we are starting preseason this weekend, and we do not have a signing in. That means that we might have, we have a couple of games to go. We have 3 games in July, and we have 3 games in July, and we have 2 games. I think it's 2 games or 3 games as well in August before starting the season. So Mikel maybe is confident that his signings, despite the fact that they will not start preseason right away, they will have ample time. They'll have enough time to go and train with the team, play some time with the team. But for me, I thought, and I still think, the Ricardo Calafiori deal should have done in the previous week. We should have completed that in the previous week. But so this one, if it doesn't get done this week, don't expect it to happen, because you cannot agree or disagree on structures of a deal for two weeks. It can't take 14 days for you to agree or disagree on a structure of a deal. Bologna have been threatening last week. They've been saying if Arsenal don't give us what we want, we are actually going to call him back for training. I don't think that's going to happen. The players already told them, I'm not staying with you guys. So you either pick up they're not even picking up losses. Even if Arsenal just give them 50 million, they will make a profit. The problem that for them is that they don't want to give 25 million to FC Basel and then they keep 25. They want to keep more than Basel. So they want to keep like 30 million and maybe Basel keep like 25 million or 20 million. So it's a very complicated situation, but we expect that to be resolved this upcoming week as well. On top of that, medical. Now, Fabrizio Romano has actually really created a lot of tension for me. I don't know how I'm going to survive this week, because the Nico Williams deal as well is going to be decided this week, and also the MERINO deal is going to be decided this week too. But what is important here for Arsenal to focus on is the Nico Williams deal. And why the Nico Williams deal is going to be like the highlight of the week, it's one that I'm going to report on throughout the whole week. I think it's going to be a little bit nervy, and it's going to be nervous as a situation, is that Barcelona are set out to go and pay the release clause of the player. It's personal terms that are going to be the problem, because of course he wants that contract to have 300,000 a week. We are being told he just signed a new one in December, giving him 200k, and that means that a new club that comes in is going to have to pay between 250k a week to 300k a week. Now, Arsenal are saying as well, they're not giving up. They're not going to give a free run to FC Barcelona. The players already said, I do not have dedicated preferences, dedicated destinations. I'm not saying I'm joining Barcelona alone. I'm not saying I'm joining Arsenal alone. So if Arsenal that actually do the most amount of work in terms of paying my wages, in terms of giving me a good deal, and also triggering the release clause, then 100% I'm going to move on to Arsenal. And if it's going to be FC Barcelona that do the good work in terms of talking to Bilbao and also talking to my camp as well, then I'm going to join FC Barcelona. Mikel Arteta, according to The Athletic, this is the player he wants. And Barca have just set the stage this week. It's going to be very interesting. What happens out of there. Because if Barca dare trigger that release clause, Arsenal will have to activate it as well, right? So I don't know if two teams can trigger the same release clause within a similar week. I'll have to make my research on that. But what I can confirm is that I think even if you trigger the release clause, but you fail on to agree personal terms, it's not valid. You don't have the player. So I think what we're going to see this week is Arsenal sending in proposals for Nico Williams. And again, that will depend on how serious they are on this one. And why this is going to be very interesting is that it is not a bidding war on the price. So Arsenal are not going to say, we're not going to try to sign Nico Williams because Barcelona are trying to, ramp up the price or drive up the price. Actually, that is not the case. In this, at this point in time, in this scenario, what you actually have, right? What you have in this scenario is the price is set, the price is fixed. And Barca, according to Joan Laporta, their president, they've been working tirelessly to make sure that they can afford Nico Williams. That doesn't mean, Barca speak like they have the right to sign the player. They actually don't have the right to sign the player. Yes, they might be favorites for any reason that people say. I don't think they are as favorites as the media portray them. I think Spanish outlets report like, oh, FC Barcelona wants him. You see, Arsenal would get him, but there's Barcelona. Yeah, but there is no concrete evidence that Barca are the ones that are going to sign him. So what we're going to see this week is Arsenal going in there to try to break down, right? Any kind of ground that Barca will have made in terms of personal terms. So if Barca can offer him 220,000, Arsenal could offer him 240,000 a week, right? Of course, there's going to be that element of Lamine Yamal playing with them. There's going to be that element of, this is Barcelona, this is a good club. But when you think about the position Arsenal are in and the position Barcelona are in, it looks like Arsenal are being underrated. It looks like we are being treated as a club that doesn't have good ground to stand on. Actually, we have very good ground to stand on. I actually think Arsenal will really rival Barcelona for Nico Williams if Arsenal decide to. If we have rivaled Man City for Declan Rice and ended up as winners, right? Of course, there was a part in the price, but there was also part in personal terms. And the player said, "I think I have a good deal with Arsenal. I'm gonna go with Arsenal still, despite the fact that you guys are big juggernauts." So Barcelona's giant status might guarantee them, a step ahead. But I think Arsenal's recent, I wouldn't say history because we've been good for 2 seasons. So I would say Arsenal's recent performances could actually paint a picture of the future for Nico Williams. I don't think he plays for Arsenal and he fails to play for the national team. I think that will not happen. I think regardless of whether he's playing for Barca or playing for Bilbao or playing for Arsenal, he'll still be Spain's left winger. So we wait to see. We wait to see how that one's going to roll down. But in my brain, I'm like, yeah, Barca could get him. But also in my heart, I'm like, but if Arsenal gets him, what if we get him? What if we give him an offer that is unbelievable? If an offer he can't turn down. What if we meet his wage demands? What if we promise him game time? What if we do this and that? So it's gonna depend, right? It's gonna depend. This week, Mikel Merino will decide where he is going to play his football. Today, we have been told that Mikel Merino has had another club from the Premier League interested. That is Aston Villa. However, the showdown is this week, as the Mundo Deportivo have reported that Mikel Merino will sit down with Real Sociedad. They will sort out their differences amicably. We don't want to know what's going to come out of there. They'll sort out their differences amicably. And after that, he will now choose a club where he will play his football. So that means that club can start sending in offers right after tonight. Clubs will be sending in offers to see who attracts him and who gets the better of him. Mundo Deportivo are saying that when they think about Barca, Atletico Madrid, and Aston Villa, Arsenal are the team that could actually give him a significant contract and a contract that would change his life. I wouldn't 100% agree with that. Now, I know that Barcelona and Atletico Madrid might not go overboard in terms of salary and wages, but they have done it before. Yes, Barca are in a precarious situation, but Atletico Madrid are not. And we know that Atletico are one of those clubs that, you can look at their wage bill and you're like, is this really Atletico Madrid? They're a club that can give a player 170,000 a week and you didn't expect it, and you just didn't expect it, right? And of course, Barcelona have given a player more than 500,000 in Antoine Griezmann a week in wages. We know that nonsense that happened, and we pray that the beautiful club actually lives to tell the tale. But the problem I have with wages now and the contract is Unai Emery. Unai Emery and so is Mikel Arteta are both Spanish managers. They have both, I don't know, has Unai Emery worked with Mikel Merino before? No, he's not worked with him before. But Villa have lost Douglas Luiz, and they're looking for a guy that can replace Douglas Luiz. I know you're going to tell me, but they have signed Onana. No. Onana does not have the quality, ability on the ball Merino has or Douglas Luiz has. So that means that Onana might have been in the plan already, probably to replace, Kamara, who is very, very good in terms of that Unai Emery side, but has been a little bit injury prone. So they might be looking to bring in Onana as that force in midfield, but they will still need another player to come into that midfield. And of course, they have the Champions League. They need to broaden their squad a little bit better in terms of numbers and also in terms of quality. So I'm afraid of this Aston Villa team. They might give him a good deal, but also Villa have the money. Villa, the way they signed Diaby last summer. I mean, they could be selling Diaby this summer to Saudi Arabia. It's going to be insane money. It's going to be absolutely insane money. I don't know how Moussa Diaby has come to the Premier League, played very well, and decided to go to Saudi Arabia. That is talk for another channel. So, is MIKEL MERINO going to choose us? We get to know this week. How much will the deal be done for? We're going to know this week. Who is the favorite? I think we are also going to know this week. But if I were Arsenal, right, at exactly 7 sharp in the morning, Monday, send in that offer. Send in that offer to the player. 7 sharp before he gets all this other confusion. And if we can impress him fast, send in that offer to Real Sociedad before all these other clubs can come in and do all their nonsense. You've done a lot of groundwork. Now we've been told that MIKEL has talked to the player. Arsenal have done some groundwork on the deal. That could be advantage Arsenal, but that doesn't guarantee you the rest. That doesn't guarantee you a win in the rest. So let's wait and see. We have a medical happening. We have a done deal to sort out, and we have 2 very highly rated players on our transfer wish list that are wanted by other clubs whose future will be set out this week. Let's see what happens this week.